Good afternoon and welcome to Nora's Dog Training the day after Christmas. We're here today with Giggles and Rich, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Giggles' ability to understand and respond to her formal on-leash obedience commands. The correction and the motivation that we give the dogs when we're working with them, and the training equipment that we're using. Rich is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he keeps the bulk of the leash folded neatly in his right hand. That leaves his left hand free to give any correction that's needed, and the only correction that we give is a little tug and release on the training collar, and that is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Now, you've had a previous dog trained by us, so a lot of this is going to look familiar to you, but the first exercise that we're going to start off with is heeling. Heeling, if you remember, is proper leash walking, and the command is Giggles heel. Now at this point, Giggles has a job to do, and that is to stay even when you're with your left leg when you're walking. No dragging you down the street, no forging ahead or lagging behind, but walking like a lady next to your leg. And we have a little blanket out here for her because the ground is cold. But when you stop walking, she's been taught to sit automatically without being told to wait for her next command. So walking with your dog should always be a pleasure. She should be focused on you. She should be walking at your pace, and each time that you stop your feet, she sits automatically and waits for her next command. And the next command that we're going to demonstrate is the sit stay. Stay is a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, it is a one-word command. The long sit stay, when you're practicing at home, you're going to start out at about 30 seconds, and you're going to slowly, over the next several weeks, work up to 3 minutes. When Rich returns back to her, he quickly walks all the way around her. She is to remain seated until he gets back to her shoulders and you see her focused on him, and they take off heeling again. And the sit stays and the down stays, you can practice those right in your house because it's going to be real cold this week, and I want you to continue to practice with her, but I don't expect you to go outside and stand in the cold. You can even practice heeling in your house. We just do it outside because it gives you a better view of what she's learned. But this is your long sit stay. You walk out to the end of your leash and you turn to face her. And this time, instead of returning back to her, Rich is going to call her. This is the come on command. And she's doing this very well on and off the leash. When she's loose running in the yard, she's coming, and then she returns to heel. And when she's on leash doing formal obedience, she's coming. So it's important that you practice both. We want you to have fun with this. We want it to be enjoyable for all of you practicing with her. So it's teaching her a new way to interact with you. Rich walks out to the end of the leash. He turns to face her when he's ready to call her. He uses her name. He lightens his tone of voice, and she comes in and sits right in front of him, facing his knees, and then she goes back to heel. And she's, as you already know, she's very, very food motivated. So even though we don't consider ourselves to be a treat-based school, we do use food when necessary. Now, the next commands that we're going to be demonstrating for you are your down commands. The first one is the down from a heel position. So with her seated at your left, you take your left open palm, push it straight down toward the ground, and give the one-word command to down and stay. Now she's distracted, so Rich is going to show you what to do when that happens at home, and it will. Down. You do it all over again, and you make her complete it the way it was taught. You're going to start out at about a minute. You're going to work right in your living room. If you notice, Rich shortened up the distance that he was from her. He walked all the way around her just as he did on the sit stay, returning back to heel. He gave her a treat for a good job. He's going to heel her out of that. And she's one of these girls that's very, very easily distracted. And what the food does with her is it keeps her focused on you. So rather than you getting frustrated and her getting over on you, don't use food every time. Use it occasionally. And because she never knows when she's going to get a treat, she stays focused, and that's going to help you be able to complete your exercises properly. This time Rich calls her out of that downstay, brings her in and has her sit right in front and then go back to heel. He told her she was a good girl. She likes to hear that. And the last command that we're going to be demonstrating for you is your down from a distance. This is a little bit harder command. You're going to put her in a sit. Rich brings her up onto her blankie. He leaves her in a stay and he turns to face her. And again, in the beginning when you're working with her, don't go too far away. This is your down from a distance, and you're going to lengthen out your distance on this one as well. Now, we have demonstrated for you all of Giggles' formal on-leash obedience commands. We have lots and lots of things to go over with you tomorrow when you pick her up. She's come a very long way here at school. We want this to keep going for you when you get her home. So we're going to give you all the information that we possibly can. She's a good girl, and she's done a really good job. We can't wait to see you tomorrow, and thank you again for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company.